employed in a school before as an instructor, and you know what? I feel like the luckiest. I feel like the luckiest teacher when I know by the fact that my student learned something from me. Hello everyone, this is Teacher Leika. So today I'm gonna discuss with you on how you will know if your students are learning. This is before your dismissal. Now, have you encountered a class wherein there is no joy in the learning process? The learning process is, a plain teaching. If that's your way of teaching your students, the lack of interaction, then your students won't be able to remember you as one great teacher. Plain teaching is no good. You have to engage your students into an educational activities. You have to inspire them. You have to guide them. You have to transform these students. But the success of these students will definitely be depending on themselves. That is why learning is very important. Now, how do you know? How do you know if your students are learning? That's a good question. So, I had been employed in a school before as an instructor, and you know what? I feel like the luckiest. I feel like the luckiest teacher when I know by the fact that my student learned something from me. Now, how do I know if my students learned something from me? That's a good question. Now, so I'm gonna give you three ideas. I'm gonna give you 3 ideas on how you will know if your students are learning. First, the facial expression. So I have been literally observing this. You have to be aware of your learners' facial expression. I know you can relate to this. You can tell when your students were afraid of communicating because of lack of comprehension. Eye contact, for example. You might think when there is an eye contact, there's learning. Maybe. Never conclude. Eye contact is definitely acceptable only when there is comprehension. I notice every time I teach students, some were looking at me, pretending they were listening. There's a big difference in it. In this case, your students need to be rescued. In fact, when you see your students' good aura, showing their genuine smiles because they've learned a lot from you, you will end up telling yourself, that's absolutely learning. They are absolutely learning. So definitely, you are more than to their happiness already. Next, the body language. The body language or the movements of the students. Okay, remember a student playing or eating the tip of his pen, even crumple ample papers, wasting school materials just to make fun of his other classmates. Are you familiar with the throwing paper balls? These students were doing unnecessary things. These students were doing unnecessary movements. You might not encounter today, but some students will test where to test your patience. They will tell you, Miss Hair, ma'am, teacher, I don't feel like learning today. I better draw Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. That will be more interesting. If that's the case, then there is no longer learning at all. However, when a learner sits, listens, and cooperate all throughout the period, then you know that there is learning. But be aware of a class wherein few were participating. Make an action, do an action. Remember, you did not go in a mission with just 5 targets. 5 targets. It's not like that. It should not be like that. Everybody must learn. Everyone should participate. Okay, and the last one, the activated thinking skills. So the activated thinking skills, every teacher's dream is to have learners, is to have a class wherein there are active students or active learners. But no, dream of a class wherein there are active learnings. Active learners are only the plus points. But when there are active learnings in class, even the laziest students will participate. Even the laziest student will get interested. Teachers, be familiar with the use of instructional materials. Students will eventually like it more. When activated thinking skills occur, act of questioning will follow. We know that children were fond of asking questions. They will ask you a million times, especially with regards to your topic. So they will ask you a million times until they get a definite answer, until they get the answer they wanted. A student who asked questions with regards to the topic, remember, does the learning. This student who asks questions with regards to your topic does the learnings. So those are the three key on how you will know if your students are learning. First, you have to know the facial expression of these students, of these learners. Second, you have to observe the body language, the movements of these students. And the last one, the activated thinking skills, their participation, their cooperation. Okay, so these three are the key on how you will know if your students are learning. Sometimes these students are hard to explain. Their behavior in learning, that's why we teachers, we exactly need to listen to them as well. They should be inspired by the fact that learning is important. So guys, if you like this video, please click the like button below and then subscribe to my channel for more videos. Bye!